External Affairs Minister Jaishankar's big remark on US trade talks. Jaishankar draws the line, says India's red lines must be respected in any US trade deal. External Affairs Minister says that India will not compromise core interests for trade gains with Washington. Trump's 50% tariff hike on Indian goods triggers diplomatic strain between the two countries. India calls US action on Russian oil imports as unfair and targeted. There are things you can negotiate and things you can't. This is what the External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar asserted. And Modi-Trump phone call revives talks for stalled India-US trade deal. But the key takeaway is that S. Jaishankar has made the strong remark saying that India's red lines must be respected in any US trade deal. Let's listen in.
Yes, we have today issues with the United States. A big part of it is the fact that we have not arrived at a landing ground for our trade discussions. And the inability so far to reach there has led to a certain tariff being levied on India. In addition, there is a second tariff, which we have said, we publicly said we regard it as very unfair, which has picked on us for sourcing energy from Russia, when of course there are other countries who have done so, including countries who right now have a far more antagonistic relationship with Russia than we do. So I don't want, I'm not minimizing the issues, but I don't think we should take it to a point as though this is going to percolate to every dimension of the relationship and there is something very fundamental at stake there. I think we need to see this in proportion.
And India Today Global's Pranay Upadhyay continues to stay with us. Pranay, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar admitted that yes, there are trade tensions between the two countries, but he also made it clear that even as the trade talks continue with US, the red lines of New Delhi must be respected by the Washington.
Definitely, Anjali, the red lines must be respected because this is a bilateral trade negotiation. And in any bilateral trade negotiation, two parties are involved and it cannot be reached, any consensus cannot be arrived at unless both parties agree to it. So therefore, India's red lines need to be respected. But the recent statement by External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar is very important in the light of his recent visit to United States. He recently visited United States and had a talk with his U.S. counterpart, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and also after the recent phone call between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and U.S. President Donald Trump, after India and United States both revived the trade negotiations. But this is the reiteration of the fact that India want U.S. to respect the red lines drawn, as far as the India's economic concerns are there, as far as the security of livelihood in India, be it the farming sector, be it the MSME sector. These are the areas where many people are dependent on for their livelihood, and that's why India drew red lines, be it the genetically modified crop, be it the dairy products, be it the shrimp sector. These are the areas of India's economic interest. While on the other side, if you see the statement by External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar, who was addressing a public conference, he said that if one aspect of the relationship is getting impacted due to this trade strain, that doesn't mean that every aspect of the bilateral relationship is getting impacted, and that's why we have seen that U.S. defense delegation visiting India and United States having intersessional 2+2 dialogue. And various other aspects. Indian military, during these trade tensions only, Indian military contingent visited Alaska and had a military exercise with the United States. So other aspects of India-United States relationship are continuing, while on the other side, as far as the trade is concerned, this impacts India. And if you have heard Dr. Jaishankar, he reiterated the similar points. Where how this relationship is getting strained because of the 50% tariff. India remain committed to resolve this issue, but expect United States to respect the red lines drawn by India, and which is of importance for India's energy security, India's security of livelihood for large number of population who are dependent on these sectors.
All right, Pranay, thank you so much for all those details and for that context. So, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar's big message for the United States that New Delhi's red lines must be respected even as the trade talks continue between the two countries.